You don't lose money, you lower yourself to a level where you don't have to change. That's what this is. Not bad luck, not timing, not the economy. You returning to who you're used to being. Look closely, because this pattern is quiet, almost invisible. You start growing, income increases, you feel sharper, more in control, more elevated. And then, something inside you resists. Not loudly, subtly. You don't quit, you drift. You delay something important, you lose urgency. You become slightly careless, not enough to notice, but enough to shift direction. And slowly, you come back down. This is not lack of discipline, this is identity correction. Your system is not asking, how much can I earn? It's asking, how much change can I tolerate? Because money doesn't just increase your income, it increases who you have to become. And that's the part no one prepares you for. Let's go deeper. There is a version of you that feels real, not the one you talk about, not the one you plan, the one you've repeated over and over for years. That version has limits, not logical limits, emotional ones, a certain lifestyle, a certain pressure level, a certain amount of responsibility. And when you move beyond that, your system reacts, not with logic, with discomfort. Your chest tightens, your thoughts speed up, your clarity fades. And suddenly, being at that higher level doesn't feel good anymore. It feels heavy. And your brain says, go back, not in words, in feelings. Here's the truth most people never face. You are not trying to grow. Part of you is trying to stay the same, because growth has a cost. And that cost is identity. If you grow, you lose your excuses. You lose your old story. You lose the version of you that people are used to. And that creates a deeper fear than failure. Failure is familiar. Growth is exposure. And exposure is what your system is trying to avoid. Let's talk about visibility. When your income increases, you become visible. People notice you. People expect more. People watch. And being seen means you can be judged, compared, questioned, rejected. If you've ever experienced pain from being seen, your system learned something. Stay small, stay safe. So now, when you rise, your system pulls you back. Not violently, precisely. You don't sabotage everything. You adjust just enough to disappear again. You answer messages slower. You stop pushing. You stop taking risks. You become slightly less of who you were becoming. And that is enough to change everything. Self-sabotage is not emotional. It's neurological. Before you lose money, your state changes. And from a different state, you make different decisions. You don't choose sabotage. You enter a state where sabotage feels like relief, because holding success requires energy. And your system is not trained to hold it, so it releases it. That's why you feel off right before you fall back. That's why things feel too much right before you slow down. That's why you suddenly want to escape when everything is going well. Not because something is wrong, because something is unfamiliar, and unfamiliar feels dangerous, even when it's better. So you return, again, and again, and again. Not to failure, to familiarity. And every time you do, you reinforce the same identity. I'm someone who almost gets there. And that becomes your ceiling, not your skill, not your intelligence, your identity. So the real problem is not, how do I make more money? The real problem is, can I stay at that level without escaping it? Because if your system cannot tolerate success, it will reject it every time. And no strategy will fix that. No motivation will fix that. This is not a strategy problem. It's a capacity problem. This is where real work begins. Not pushing harder, not doing more. But learning to stay. Stay when it feels intense. Stay when you feel seen. Stay when it feels unfamiliar. Because that is the moment. Your identity is expanding. And if you leave, it collapses. So next time things start going well, watch yourself. Not what you do, what you feel. The discomfort, the pressure, the urge to pull back, that is the signal. Not to stop, to stabilize. Because success is not about reaching a level. It's about staying there. Without becoming someone you run away from. And until that happens, you will keep lowering yourself to match who you believe you are, not who you could be, who you are used to being. You don't lose money, you return to yourself. And if you don't change that, nothing else will change.